How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be checking out some girls today. Completely different and random than the normal stuff that I react to, right? Anyways, the name of the video is American Girls versus European Girls. How do they compare? So it's going to be a pretty interesting video. Anyways, the original channel that we're going to be reacting to is called The Infographics Show, and you will be able to find the link to that down below as always. And yeah, we're gonna jump into this and find out exactly how they compare.
Separated by the Atlantic Ocean, American women aren't much different from their European cousins, but it's almost impossible to compare women from all across Europe, as the continent covers a real range of nationalities, cultures, and ethnicities. So be warned that this show may make some broad generalizations, which we hope you'll excuse. What we're attempting to do today is compare European and American women. What makes them tick? How do they behave? And what are the similarities and differences between them? That's what we'll try to find out in today's infographic show, as we look at American girls versus European girls. Before breaking down the differences between the sexes, let's take a look at the general similarities and differences between Americans and Europeans. As we all probably know, Europeans and Americans share a whole bunch of similarities, owing to ancestral lineage and cultural similarities. They both have a broad commitment to democratic principles and share economic alliances. Both continents enjoy reasonably high standards of living and are considered developed by the rest of the world. There are some differences when it comes to religious quirks, free expression.
Except for there is a lot of the world that believes that sorry, I was on the wrong scene here. A lot of the world that believes that the United States is not developed, that it's more like a third world country. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes, right?
Sense of entitlement, and the morality concept. Americans believe that they are generally in control of their destiny, whereas the rest of the world, except the UK, accept that powers outside of their control are dependent upon their success. Americans are generally more independent and ambitious. In a 2014 Pew survey, 57% of Americans believe their success is in their own hands. Yet Americans, at just over half the population, see religion as more important than their European cousins do. In France, only 14% of people consider religion important.
I don't know where they're getting their stats from, because a lot of the people that I know around here and stuff, I mean, yeah, you got your religious people, but it's not, I don't know, take it with a grain of salt.
Compared with 53% in the USA. World statistics show that there is a strong link between people's religiosity and their wealth. Religion is generally more important to countries with lower GDPs. Almost 40% of Americans feel that sex between unmarried couples is immoral, whereas in the EU it is less of an issue. So are American women more prudish? Well, it depends on who you talk to and where you are. Many American women are the complete.
Yeah, well, I think on the front end it's like that, but I don't think American women are prude. I think they just, I don't know how to say this without offending people, but I think they like to appear kind of prude and whatnot. I think a lot of them are more vigorous than they like people to know. You know what I mean? They keep a lot of the stuff secret because everybody here judges people. So people have a more active sex life. They kind of keep it a little bit more secret because people think that other people are going to judge them or call them, bad names and stuff like that. Whereas in Europe, people don't judge as much, so you don't have that fear as much, so people can be more open about it. That makes sense?
Opposite of prudes, being independent and fun-loving in multiple situations. So with all of these observations, please note that they are just that, observations and not rules. So let's take a look at some of the differences. Both America and Europe are big places, and while it's easy to generalize about people and places, it's also fair to say that American women have more in common with American women, and the same is true for European women with European women. The only real oddity in Europe is the UK, where women seem to be behave more like Americans rather than their European cousins. But in general, there are some uniform similarities that separate Europeans from Americans in terms of attitude and behavior. When it comes to
Yeah, see the UK, I think the UK is kind of, I mean, yeah, it's kind of, it's part of Europe, but it's kind of, it's separated from the mainland of Europe, and they do have a lot of ties or a lot of like cultural influence, with the United States and whatnot. So I feel like the UK is kind of like a in between the United States and European kind of thing. It's like a mix between the two. That makes sense.
looks, women are more uniform. In Rome or Barcelona, women normally wear a skirt of similar length, a pair of reasonably high heels, a blouse or top, and long beautiful hair. In America and in London, however, women come in many different styles. Thin women, overweight women, women in goth or emo garb with black eyeliner and dyed hair.
Yeah.
Americans seem to adopt the counterculture more readily, whereas European women tend to adopt a more traditionally feminine style. It's not unusual to see a girl with a mohawk and a skateboard on the New York subway or the London Underground, whereas this would be
Right.
considered unusual in, say, Budapest. While Americans
Now, of course, I mean, I've never been to New York, but I know it gets crazy out there. I mean, I've seen movies, I've seen, different stuff on YouTube, and oh yeah.
dress for comfort, European women are conscious of class and fashion, even if they're simply walking to the store or going to the gym. Europeans dress
That is true. Here in the United States, you hear stories, Walmart and like the gas station that's closest to your house where people joke about like, oh, it's the only acceptable place to like go out in your pajamas and stuff. It's just because like every time you go to like Walmart or like the Dollar General store or like whatever gas station at night, you'll see people going in there in like their pajamas and everything. Like, and then of course in Europe, they got to get all tidied up, they got to get all proper and before they go out.
for style, and unless they are on the beach, most European women wouldn't consider wearing flip-flops or thongs. Unless they are participating in sports or working out, sneakers are not normally worn by Europeans. European women tend to wear flats with closed or open toes or high heels in most everyday situations. However, unlike most
Yeah, so the description that he's given of the European women is what I think of like the proper like British girl. You know what I mean? With the skirt and the like the suit top or blazer top or whatever you want to call it.
most rules, there are exceptions. For social gatherings, American women will dress just as smart as their European counterparts and often outstyle them. Women in Europe are generally more educated than in America. University education is more affordable in Europe, with many countries having free college programs. This doesn't
Yeah.
mean that European women are any more intelligent than American women, but they generally have the opportunity to learn more in Europe. Most European women speak at least 2 languages and sometimes as many as 5 or 6.
It's not just exclusive to women though. I think that's just like European people in general. Hold on one second.
Europeans generally have a good understanding of history and geography outside of their own countries, and most
Yeah.
Europeans have traveled to other countries before they reach their teenage years. Separated
Yeah, that's a huge reoccurring theme that I'm noticing in a lot of these videos.
from the world by 2 oceans, many Americans never leave their country of birth. Bizarrely, and despite their lack of travel, American women are often more independent than European women. In social situations, American women tend to be more outgoing and curious, making them more fun at parties and social gatherings. Americans have a sense of adventure and liberty unmatched by women from other nations. In the States,
I don't know what they're saying by that though, because I feel like that's both people, Americans and Europeans. They both have that sense of adventure and like honestly more so in Europe. I would feel like because you guys over in Europe are like able to like travel to other countries a lot easier and stuff. Everything's closer. I don't know how accurate this video is, so like let me know what your guys' thoughts are on that. I apologize for all these flies that are buzzing around in here. It was hot the other day and we left the door open and they all came in.
A second or third marriage isn't uncommon, but looking at divorce statistics from 2014, Belgium, Spain, Portugal, Luxembourg, the Czech Republic, and Hungary all had worse divorce rates than the US. In general, American women and
Really?
European women get divorced at similar rates. European women are on average better looking than American women according to some independent observers. America has problems with obesity among the young. This is not as much a problem in Europe at present. Of course, our perception of what is beautiful is a personal choice, but taking into account
Very true. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
what seems to be the movie star and magazine standard, Europe trumps America. Riding the tram in Amsterdam, the average commuter might be surrounded by slim and attractive women. In Eastern Europe, the Balkans, and former Soviet satellite countries, it's possible to wander around for a while without encountering an overweight, unattractive female. European women are
Yeah.
usually approachable, knowing that conversation
Yeah, that's I definitely keep on hearing that. And it's something that I've noticed too, you know, even before I started my channel, doing reactions and stuff, because you see movies where it's based in Europe or like you see different stuff, just like you guys see different stuff about America. And that is one thing that I noticed that there's not the obesity problem so much in other countries.
approachable, knowing that conversation between a male and a female is not a potential sexual advance. American women are often more wary of advances from strangers. European women often feel that being seduced is an appealing validation of their sexual attractiveness and fertility rather than a violation of their rights. A European woman will normally tell you straight up if they're interested.
It's it's all on how you go about it. I feel like because it's like the degenerate culture of some of the youth, the degenerate youth here in America, with the media pushing the wrong agenda, people having the wrong celebrities as their like role models and stuff, and all the just bad stuff. You got all these people that's like want to be gangsters out here, shooting people with guns and selling drugs and whatnot and all this kind of stuff. And so like that kind of degenerate culture, then they grow up and a lot of times they're just sexist assholes, so they're approaching the women in a very disrespectful way. You know what I mean? Whereas in Europe, I feel like they just have more respect in general. So they're approaching the women in a more respectful way. So the women aren't used to being approached that way, like that, in the negative way, like they do here. So they're more comfortable being approached probably. Whereas here in America, they're women are just so used to just guys just acting dumb, really, and immature, like a pack of wild dogs or something. Like when they see a women, a pretty girl go down the street or something, I don't know. Some people just act like idiots, but every country's gonna have that, I guess. But I feel like that's probably why the approachableness is different.
Will normally tell you straight up if they're interested in dating and won't subscribe to what is termed flaky behavior. When it comes to dating and hanging out, an American girl might be flirtatious and open about her feelings. Americans like to call things as they see them. Europeans, on the other hand, may be more reserved and mysterious about their feelings. A guy dating a European woman may have to rely on his spider senses to unlock the mysterious puzzle that's in her mind. As we mentioned above, these generalizations cannot be proven by science, so we need your
Unless you're in the Netherlands, though, because that Dutch directness, right? They're not going to beat around the bush and make you wonder in the Netherlands, right? They're going to tell you straight up how they feel, I believe.
proven by science. So we need your input to keep the discussion moving. So join in the discussion. What do you think about American and European women? What are the differences and the similarities between the two? Be sure to let us
Yeah.
know in the comment section below.
This is exactly what I was thinking. It says, who else thinks this guy's never actually been to Europe? I've never been to Europe, and there was a lot of stuff that I was kind of like, I'm not sure about this, right? Yeah, right here, European woman will usually tell you straight away if they're interested in you. Yeah, this video had to be named What Americans Think That Women Are Like. That's awesome. So, anyways, that was a good video. Let me know down below what you guys think. Have a super fun, awesome time. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, bye.